In this week's one-on-one, we're taking a look at a pair of second-year wide receivers, Julio Jones and A.J. Green. Of course, there was plenty of debate leading up to last year's draft with these two SEC standouts not having a lot separating themselves. After strong rookie years, the debate is still raging. Both players have very high expectations entering year two. You're picking Julio Jones. Let me know why you think.
Well, I actually think both players are going to have better second seasons than they did in their first year. I just think Jones is going to take the bigger step. I think you look at what he did last season, missing almost a full quarter of the season, still put up nearly 1,000 yards receiving, had 8 touchdown grabs. Coming back, I expect him to take a big step. If he can stay healthy, and you have Roddy White, Tony Gonzalez, strong running game with Michael Turner and Jacquizz Rodgers becoming a bigger part of that offense. A lot of weapons in Atlanta. I think it sets up very well for Julio Jones to be seeing some very favorable coverage throughout the season. I think he's going to rack up huge numbers. Had a very strong offseason training.
Such a big if when you're talking about him staying healthy, though. As we know, Julio Jones has not been able to do that for an entire season dating back to college. So missed 3 games last year, was banged up. I just worry that that's going to be something that follows him. I mean, he's obviously a very special talent. He was dominating players even as a rookie. But we saw the injury concerns creep up. As I mentioned, we've seen it throughout his collegiate career. I wonder if it's a tag that's going to follow him as his career progresses.
It's a fair question, but I think the other fair question is, how does A.J. Green build on what he did last season when he has less help at wide receiver than he did last year? You don't have Caldwell there. You don't have Simpson. You have some younger guys that you're hoping step up, but are they going to? Does anybody know? I just wonder about if A.J. Green is going to be seeing double coverage over and over again. Does that end up in maybe, if not dropping his numbers, at least keeping them flat?
Well, I'll tell you what, he saw a lot of double coverage last year, and he didn't have a problem with it. I think you can look at that argument both ways. Sure, there's no Roddy White, there's no Tony Gonzalez in Cincinnati, but at the same time, that means there's not as many balls to share. Andy Dalton's going to be able to focus on getting A.J. Green the ball as much as possible. As I mentioned, he didn't have a lot of problems with the double teams last year, so I think the supporting cast is clearly better in Atlanta, but who's to say that won't work out as an advantage for A.J. Green?
Another thing, maybe the quarterback situation is something to take into account here. Does Andy Dalton avoid the sophomore slump going into his second season? I feel like Matt Ryan going into year 5, more prepared to make a guy like Julio Jones shine a little bit brighter than a guy like Dalton, who, again, with less help at wide receiver, less guys that he's familiar with, comfortable with at the position, and some situations where they're going to be playing outdoors late in the year when it's a little bit more difficult to throw the ball 30, 40 yards downfield than it is for Matt Ryan playing in the dome much of the time. When we get to those late months in December and early January, I feel like that also is going to play into this situation a little bit. It lends itself more to big passing numbers, and in turn big numbers for Julio Jones than it might for A.J. Green.
It's a strong argument, and I can't really make an argument for Matt Ryan not being further along than Andy Dalton. Of course, he's got more experience and is building off even a little bit stronger season, so we'll see what happens there. Listen, I think both of these guys are great talents, special talents. They're going to have fine careers in the NFL. I think A.J. Green may be a little bit further along as the complete package than Julio Jones at this point. Jones did struggle with some drops at points last season. I'm not sure he's quite as polished of a route runner. Green obviously went a few picks higher, so there were a number of NFL teams, or at least one we know for sure, that felt the way that I do on this one. So, listen, I think they're both going to be great. I think A.J. Green's going to have a chance to be moved around a little bit more this season to avoid some of those double teams we were talking about. Cincinnati's been saying they want to get him all over the field and try and put him in better positions. So I wonder if that's something that maybe can work out in his favor as well. We'll have to wait and see.
The bottom line, I think, is that by the time we get to the end of the 2012 season, we're going to be talking about both of these players as truly elite wide receivers in the NFL.